Please welcome the president of the Halifax International Security Forum, Mr. Peter Van Praagh.
Ministers, members of Parliament, members of the congressional delegation, distinguished officers, ladies and gentlemen, colleagues and friends, welcome to Halifax. Before I say anything further, I want to give a special welcome back to Canada's Minister of National Defence, Harjit Sajjan. As many of you know, between last year's forum and today, a general election was held in Canada. In fact, it was only last month. And Minister Sajjan was re-elected in his riding of Vancouver South. Congratulations, Minister. Vancouver, British Columbia, for those of you who are not familiar with Canadian geography, is on the other side of this continent, over 6,000 kilometers away. For perspective, the distance between Halifax and Vancouver is greater than the distance between Halifax and Berlin, Germany. In any case, Minister Sajjan was re-elected last month in Vancouver South and reappointed as Defense Minister just this week, and I am proud to welcome him back to Halifax International Security Forum as your official host for the weekend. Minister, welcome back, and thank you for being present. Minister Sajjan and others who have joined together in this room any time in the past 11 years know that here at Halifax we work hard to project today's issues into the new year to give you, policymakers and influential leaders, the information and the insights you need to make good decisions, to make good policy. For those of you joining us for the first time, please note, you will be hearing from many people on this stage, much better equipped than I to do just that. And despite this, that truth hasn't yet stopped me from making a few remarks here at the top of the weekend. Last year, from this podium, we marked the 100th anniversary of the end of the Great War, the war to end all wars. Today, in November 2019, 1 year later, we mark the anniversary of the Treaty of Versailles. Despite historian David Fromkin much later describing Versailles as the peace to end all peace, at the time, in 1919, many people thought that our job was done. 75 years ago, this past summer, at D-Day, Canadian, British, and American troops landed in France to push Nazism out of Europe by force. Many people thought that our job was done. 30 years ago, this month, the Berlin Wall came down and Soviet communism crumbled. And many people thought that our job was done. But our job wasn't done in 1919. Our job wasn't done in 1944, 45. And our job wasn't done in 1989. The threats that limited freedoms of millions of people on every continent were real, and confronting them, defeating them, required real purpose. This year's agenda begins in just a few minutes with a panel called Revolutions of Our Time, Freedom Without Us, or perhaps Freedom Without the U.S. But people everywhere in the world have been inspired by the successful American story of freedom and its pursuit of justice and dignity for individuals. It is a story that is infectious, and it is a story that resonates today throughout the world. With that type of global influence, that type of power, comes significant responsibility. I'm grateful to Senator Tim Kaine, who is here with us again together with Senator Barrasso. Welcome back. And I am proud to welcome Senator James Risch, Chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Mr. Chairman, welcome. Senator Angus King, Representative Seth Moulton, and Representative Jim Banks, welcome. Thank you for being present. There are some people who say Washington doesn't work. Well, Washington is here, And although we have senators who disagree with each other on a whole host of issues, they share core universal values. They can talk with each other and, more important, listen to each other, and when the hearing is at its best, they can get somewhere, move an issue forward. Just this week, the Senate unanimously passed the Hong Kong Human Rights and Democracy Act. This is an example to the world of American leadership. For the first time at Halifax, we have with us Ambassador Robert O'Brien, President Trump's national security advisor. I am grateful to you, Ambassador O'Brien, that together with so many American political leaders, American military leaders, and American experts joining this meeting, you are signaling to the world that America is indeed present. I think of the Halifax agenda as an LP, as a story with an arc to it, and our closing panel on Sunday, Revolutions and Their Remains, looks at the intended and unintended consequences of popular movements. Between now and Sunday, we will be looking at China, looking at the importance of democratic alliances, and asking if our institutions, created 7 decades ago, are up for the task of defending freedom and democracy through this century. We will look at the role of government and of the private sector in protecting our civil rights when we've already become dependent on technology. And we will look at the Arctic, where, as a direct result of climate change, the world's major powers are staring at each other. And we will study leadership and the role of women in making the world a more secure and peaceful place. That panel on Sunday, Security Solutions, Women's Contributions, will be different from what you might expect, and deliberately so. I am very proud to welcome the 2019 class of the Halifax Peace with Women Fellowship. Senior officers from Germany, Australia, New Zealand, Norway, France, the Netherlands, Lithuania, the UK, the US, and Canada are concluding their 3-week study tour with us at the Forum this weekend. The 2018 class of the fellowship joins us here this weekend as well. You'll hear more about the fellowship at dinner tonight. Jonathan Weistub, our chairman, announced the Peace with Women Fellowship at the 2017 Forum. In 2 short years, it has become an important tool for allied militaries, something that we are very proud of. Fellows, welcome to Halifax. We feel your presence. You will find that the agenda is most importantly relevant. And I want to thank our agenda working group who worked with me during the summer to ensure all major issues were addressed. This program is not only beautiful, in this program you will find short opinion essays by distinguished authors, many of whom join us this weekend. They set the stage for the plenary panels. They are meant to start the conversation, and without exception, they are excellent. Please take time to read them. Although we did not announce it formally here at Halifax, over the course of the past year, we've held meetings several times in London, and I am grateful to Lady Pauline Neville-Jones for hosting us at the House of Lords throughout the year. Thank you, Pauline, and thank you for being present.
Thank you.
Pauline, if I'm not wrong, these London dinners were intended to address what we viewed as the world's most pressing problems, and they didn't start off dedicated to addressing issues related to China. But China is what this dinner series became about. In a moment of clarity in what is indeed a complicated subject, Pauline told the table at one of the dinners that what was needed was a coherent and comprehensive strategy with regard to China that the United States and Canada and their European and Asian allies could sign up to. So that is what Halifax is going to do. Over the course of the next 12 months, we will be talking to you, talking to others, and crafting a coherent, comprehensive strategy for China that the United States and Canada and their European and Asian allies can sign up to. The strategy paper we release will recognize China's significance as an economic power while stressing the primacy of our democratic values. China is a country that is arbitrarily detaining two innocent Canadians, known now in international diplomatic circles as the two Michaels. They are Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, and I urge the international community to raise their detainment and demand their release at every meeting with your Chinese interlocutors. China is a country that is methodically re-educating its Muslim population against their will. If the 20th century taught us anything, it should have taught us what that means and what is on the horizon. Indeed, it is no longer a secret that Xi Jinping's China is working to make the world safe for authoritarianism. It is time for a comprehensive China strategy for the US, Canada, and their allies that make the world safe for democracy. We've done it before, with purpose. We can do it again. The strategy paper will be released at the 2020 Halifax International Security Forum 2 weeks after the US presidential election. At this point in my remarks, I want to thank the people who make this weekend work. The true secret of our success is this gorgeous venue and the warmth of the people who work here. We also have many local volunteers from the community. They are identifiable by their white lanyards, and I know are looking forward to helping you. Tonight at the gala dinner, we will be honoring Nancy Southern, CEO of ATCO, for her unwavering support of the forum's mission and its work with our Builders Award. Canadians like to say that the world needs more Canada. The idea being that Canadians are strong, warm-hearted, and that they do the right thing. I can't say if that is true of all Canadians, but it is most certainly true of Nancy Southern. Nancy, thank you, and thank you for being present. Bill McCaffrey, founder of Calgary-based Meg Energy, founded the Halifax Canada Club 9 years ago to ensure that industry's ideas for international security are included in the conversations here at Halifax. Bill, welcome back. Thank you for being present. Thanks, Bill. Mr. Ahmet Çalık, chairman of Istanbul, Turkey-based Çalık Holding, thank you. Welcome back. Thank you for being present. And Sir Michael Arthur, president of Boeing International, welcome to Halifax. I look forward to your panel tomorrow morning. Thank you for being present. Together, the Halifax Canada Club ensures that the work we do here this weekend and throughout the year will continue. In short, without them, there would be no Halifax International Security Forum. Nancy, Sir Michael, Ahmet, Bill, and senior members of their teams will be identified this weekend by their gold lobster lapel pin. When you have a chance, please thank them for their very generous support. Like this. Thank you for your very generous support. Thank you also to NATO. Your support since the beginning has been fundamental, and I'm glad to have Deputy Secretary General Mirja Joanna with us this weekend for the first time. Thank you, Ipsos, for your generous cooperation. Thank you, Foreign Affairs Magazine, Foreign Policy Magazine, and Politico, our media partners. Thank you to CAE, CADSI, and Pensofico for your very significant support. Thank you to the Government of Canada, the Department of National Defence, the Canadian Forces, and the Atlantic Canada Opportunities Agency, ACOA, for your enthusiastic support. Your agencies have believed in what we do since the beginning, and we are very grateful. Deputy Minister of Defence, Jody Thomas, thank you. General Vance, Chief of Canada's Defence Staff, thank you for your confidence in us too. Thank you both for being present. As well, for everyone's situational awareness, You need to know that I've again given my word to General Vance that the forum will run on time. We started late because of a flight delay, but we will be back on time. This means on time. Of course, none of this would be possible without you, our distinguished participants and speakers. Thank you for making the trip. Please use social media to convey your thoughts throughout our on-the-record sessions. Our hashtag is HISF 2019, 2019. Please don't use social media during our off-the-record sessions. I want to thank our board of directors. Our chairman, Jonathan Weistub, and our vice chairman, Jonathan Tepperman, have been with us since 2011, and I am so very grateful for their long-standing service. Ahmet Taçyıldız from Istanbul recently joined the board and serves as treasurer, and I am very grateful to you, Ahmet, over there, for your firm commitment to our mission. I am proud to announce 2 new members who joined our board this year. First, Major General Tammy Harris. Tammy retired from the Canadian Forces in 2018 as Deputy Commander of the Royal Canadian Air Force. Tammy was the first woman to command a major Canadian Armed Forces base, and throughout her distinguished 30-year military career, Tammy has been a trailblazer for women in the military. We are so proud to have her as Director of Halifax International Security Forum. Tammy, thank you for your confidence in us. And Cindy Mccain. Cindy has dedicated her life to improving the lives of those less fortunate, both in the U.S. and around the world. Cindy has traveled to every corner of this earth, including during conflict, to support vulnerable civilians. She is a tireless humanitarian, and having her agree to be on our board of directors is the most rewarding signal we could have that Halifax International Security Forum's work is having an impact. Cindy, thank you. To all of our board members, thank you for being present. As many of you know, Halifax International Security Forum was a close friend to Senator John McCain. In 2017, we inaugurated the John McCain Prize for Leadership in Public Service. In 2018, Cindy presented the first John McCain Prize to the people of Lesbos, Greece. Tomorrow morning, we are so proud that Cindy will present the 2019 McCain Prize for Leadership in Public Service to the people of Hong Kong. It is altogether fitting that Halifax International Security Forum be the first major organization to recognize the people of Hong Kong with a prize that bears Senator McCain's name. Of course, there will be some, perhaps many, that criticize or even attack us for commending individuals who stand for freedom, who take risks for freedom, who demand freedom. Sometimes it feels as though freedom is a new idea and that those who demand it are somehow demanding just a little bit too much. This is not the National Basketball Association. This is Canada. This is the United States of America. This is Halifax, where representatives of the free peoples of the world and those who aspire to be free come together. Freedom and the demand for freedom is an idea that is as old as Moses. Demanding freedom and dignity is never too much. Senator McCain taught all of us this simple truth through his life's work. His memory here at Halifax gives people everywhere the courage to stand for freedom. This year, in your packet, you will have received pencils. I have one right here. Inscribed on the pencils are the words, present, not permanent. We knew all too well from the history of the past century that freedom and democracy are fragile. Freedom and democracy cannot be taken for granted in any country at any time. This weekend, be present. Make your presence felt so that Like Senator McCain, our work contributes to making the ideals we treasure as permanent on earth as they can be. Thank you. Once again, Minister Sajjan, thank you for your leadership and your commitment to our mission to strengthen strategic cooperation among the world's democracies. Thank you for being present. Ladies and gentlemen, Canada's Minister of National Defence, Harjit Sajjan.
Thank you, Peter. In 2015, when I was appointed Minister of National Defence, it was quite a privilege to be able to serve the women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces. And I was given about a week before I had to come to the Halifax Security Forum to get ready for it. It's something, a place that I admired from afar, where at that time I couldn't attend, and to be hosting it was a great privilege for me, and to be reappointed again, it's a privilege to be back, but I wish I had more than 2 days to prepare, though. Mayor Savage, Andy Fillmore, your newly elected Member of Parliament for Halifax, ministers, ambassadors, the UN Undersecretary General, NATO Deputy Secretary General, General Vance, Deputy Minister Jody Thomas, members of the Canadian Armed Forces, distinguished delegates, friends from near and far, welcome. I would like to acknowledge first that we are gathered on the traditional ancestral territory of the Mi'kmaq people. And it's an honor for me to stand here before you today at the 11th Halifax International Security Forum. I would like to first of all, give my thanks again to Peter and his team for the organizing such a great weekend and a meaningful, intimate conversations that will strengthen our bonds of friendship between many nations. Thank you. Over the past decade, Peter and his team have built this forum into what it is today, a uniquely intimate setting for important security discussions, and one of the premier events of its kind in the world. And in the room right now, we have delegates from across the globe, Africa, Asia, North and South America, Europe, and the Middle East. All of you bringing unique perspectives, experience, and knowledge to this forum. Let's take a moment to acknowledge also the bipartisan U.S. congressional delegation, and I look forward to our discussions with you on the many interests to our both great nations. Thank you for coming again. Now, the city of Halifax is a key port from which Canada deploys forces abroad that contribute to international peace and security. It is a city with particularly deep ties to our Navy. The Halifax Dockyard has served as an anchor for this community since 1759, and it still forms part of CFB Halifax. To the same port, Halifax has also welcomed countless new Canadians to this land. For decades, hundreds of thousands arrived at Pier 21 by ship, some searching for economic opportunities, others for a safe harbor, far away from war and persecution. They came here navigating the trials and tribulations of their times in search of something better. We see a world with millions under strain from security and economic pressures beyond their control. We see many fleeing their homes due to internal conflict and from conflicts that increasingly respect no borders. We see populations affected by changing climate and disruptive technologies. And we see challenges to the rules-based international order, which has kept the world safe since the end of the Second World War. And over the next couple of days, we are going to be tackling these relevant and timely issues. Here in Canada, we are concerned about the rapidly changing and unpredictable nature of the global security environment. The pace of change is staggering. In Canada's defense policy, Strong, Secure, and Engaged sets a path forward that will allow us to meet the challenges that we are seeing, which is why we must continue to build on a strong foundation. Our vision for the coming decades is simple. We're building a Canada that is strong at home, secure in North America, and that is engaged in the world. Now, to be strong at home, our defense policy has committed to growing Canada defense spending from about $19 billion, starting back in 2016, to over $32 billion by 2026, which is a 70% increase. Now, this money, which is carved out of Canada's fiscal framework, illustrates our commitment to supporting the women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces, buying new equipment, and updating our infrastructure. We said that we would build a more diverse and inclusive organization with more women, more opportunities for Indigenous peoples, and we are. A diverse and inclusive force is more operationally effective. It improves how we understand conflict zones and affords greater access to communities. That is why we complete a Gender-Based Analysis Plus as part of all defense team activities. It is also the reason that we have been a leader on the LC initiative to increase the participation of women in peacekeeping. And this initiative is part of Canada's work with the United Nations to integrate women's perspectives into the peace process, from conflict prevention to conflict resolution to reconciliation. But to grow representation of women in peacekeeping, it means increasing the number of women who serve in our armed forces. And that is why we are focused on growing the representation of women in the Canadian military to at least 25% of the total force by 2026. But Canadians know that we can't be an island of stability in an ocean of turmoil. Eventually, the negative ripples will reach our shores. And it is why Canada will always work with our friends and neighbors. And to be secure in North America, we continue to strengthen our relationship with our southern neighbor, our closest friend. From joint training exercises to high-level personnel exchange, aerospace and maritime defense through NORAD, sanctions enforcement, and stopping illegal traffic on the high seas, Canada and the US do a lot together. Simply put, we can address more threats and achieve greater security in North America together than by doing it alone. The same can be said for our relationship with NATO. Threats from non-state actors, challenges in the space and cyber domains, and the ever-evolving information environment. All of these underscores the importance of our transatlantic security alliance and its deterrence effect. In its 70th year, NATO's role has never been more important. Not all countries believe in the rules-based international order, and some ignore it. There are some who seek to undermine the domestic institutions that we have served, that have served us so well for decades. And in response, Canada is committed to multilateralism, international cooperation. And concurrently, we are leading 3 NATO efforts globally. To answer Russian military aggression in Eastern Europe, Canada has deployed its largest presence in Europe since the end of the Cold War as part of Operation Reassurance. And in fact, just this summer, Commodore Kurtz assumed command of the standing NATO maritime group in the Mediterranean. We are leading an enhanced forward presence battle group in Latvia, providing additional security for our Baltic states. And in the Middle East, we're commanding NATO's training mission in Iraq for the 2nd year to support Iraq building more effective defense and security institutions. We also continue to work closely with our global coalition partners to defeat Daesh. And many of you are here in this room today. Under Operation Unifier, we have been at the heart of international efforts to support Ukraine since its illegal annexation of Crimea by Russia in 2014, deploying troops to assist with military training. And our government is unwavering in its commitment to the people of Ukraine and their country's territorial integrity. In the Asia Pacific, our commitment to monitoring United Nations sanctions against North Korea continues under Operation Neon, while our maritime presence in the region through Operation Projection is now near continuous. We understand the value of multilateralism, which is why Canada supports the work of the United Nations, a force for peace in many parts of the world. Last year, we marked our successful return to peace support operations through the United Nations MINUSMA mission in Mali. And this past August, Canada deployed a tactical airlift detachment to Entebbe, Uganda, where our women and men of the armed forces are helping to transport troops, equipment, and supplies to the United Nations Organization Stabilization Missions. It's one example of Canadians contribute with innovative ideas and expertise to address some of the world's most difficult challenges. As part of our commitment to the international community, Canada is also running for a seat on the United Nations Security Council for the 2021-22 term. These are just several examples of Canada's engaged in the world, a world where populations are increasingly under pressure from a changing climate. And like many of you, we are feeling the effects of climate change as more disasters like floods and fires strike our communities. And the Canadian Armed Forces are required to deploy more often at home to help Canadians impacted by extreme weather, such as when they help to support recovery efforts right here in Halifax and Atlantic Canada after Hurricane Dorian. For Canada, the effects of this are profound, especially in the Arctic, which is warming at 3 times the global average. As the ice melts and the frequency and severity of natural disasters increase, the strain on the military will only intensify. And Canada is also investing in new equipment and capabilities to remain strong at home. Right here in Halifax, our new fleet of Arctic and offshore patrol ships is taking shape right before our eyes. We're also about to receive the first of the 16 brand new fixed-wing search and rescue aircraft. And our defense policy has set us up for success in this rapidly changing defense and security environment. We know that we cannot use yesterday's solutions to today's problems. We require innovation. And that is why through our Innovation and Defense Excellence and Security programs, or IDEAs for short, we are reaching out to Canadians, to Canadian companies, innovators, so they can put forward their best solutions to help us solve defense and security challenges. And because being able to adapt quickly to changing threats is one of the main goals of our policy, we're investing $1.6 billion in this program to bring forward the best ideas to help better support our women and men in uniform. It does not matter if you're working from home, in a university lab, or a small company, or a large corporation. Canada needs to hear from our best and brightest. And to reach out to those in the academic community, our new Mobilizing Insights in Defense and Security program, or MINDS for short, will strengthen our ties. MINDS is different from IDEAs in that our focus is on global security policy and generating knowledge in the public policy realm. We're working closely with experts in the defense and security community, such as those at Dalhousie, as a way to access relevant, timely defense experience that brings together a diversity of viewpoints. Our ability to access external expertise and encourage the next generation of thought leaders supports our defense policy's call for Canada to better anticipate, adapt, and act now and into the future. But there's much work to be done and more need for dialogue. We host this forum every year because we believe that we are stronger together. And this forum strengthens our relationship and helps pave the way for a more secure world. And I urge everyone to take full advantage of this opportunity to be candid, consider the perspectives of others, share your expertise, and most importantly, enjoy yourself. And we have an excellent program ahead of us. Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much.